And good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the Post Game Show. Today, we're doing a PITT post game. Like I said before, this show could possibly be doing any kind of a post game. We could be doing Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, and PITT. Well, tomorrow we have a Steeler post game, 20 minutes immediately following the game. So, big panel tomorrow. Smokin Jim Frazier, who is my co-host for Sports Corner Radio, is here with me today. Smokin Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, it's an honor, Ralph. Looking forward to this particular show.
All right, and then tomorrow we have a big panel. It's going to be Steve Spates, Bubba Brewer, JT Toth, and Smokin Jim Frazier. So we have a huge panel for tomorrow for the post game. So the Steeler post game. This is the new post game. This is the new equivalent to any kind of post game show. We put on the number one best post game show, and anything that I'm associated with is top quality and number one. So here we are. All right, Smokin Jim, let's get started with this game. 30-19, the final. Some bad mistakes, penalties, some shank punts in the first half, all kinds of mistakes Pitt made today, but they still didn't do too bad. They still scored 19 points. Nate Yarnell looked pretty good. At quarterback, he looks comfortable. He looks poised. What was your thoughts on the game?
Well, one, nobody stayed home for Thanksgiving. The stands was empty. Other than the student body, it looked like the community that surrounds Duke does not support the football team very much. It's all basketball, but hey, Pitt got out coached. The tempo of the game, they don't really know what they want to do. Do they want to be a running team, a passing team? I assume that Bartholomew, the best offensive weapon, the tight end, I'm assuming that he was hurt because he didn't play today. Some of the backup tight ends had a lot of drops. Number 7,
yeah, that Epps, he had a drop. Yes, he did.
But the one good thing, Ralph, is I think that they found more than adequate quarterback that they can go into the off season and develop. He's 6'6". He's not afraid to run the football. He got more than a decent arm. He can make a lot of the throws that you need to make in college. He seemed to be able to read coverages pretty good. So that's one thing. Narduzzi has something to get excited about in the offseason with their quarterback position.
Well, that's if Narduzzi don't go to the transfer portal and do another Phil Jakovic. I mean, if he does that again, or a Max Brown or a Keaton Slovis, Pitt's going to have problems going down the road. I mean, seriously, they have to develop what they have. And what they have is Nate Yarnell. They have that Crandall kid. And then they also have that recruit coming from Penn Hills, that quarterback. He's going to Pitt. So with that, they should be okay. And I don't know what Valor's going to do. I don't know if he's going to transfer or stay with the team. He probably will transfer because he didn't do too good this year. I mean, he did what he could. He was 1-4. Phil Jakovic was 1-4, and Nate Yarnell's won two games in a row until today. So I'm not, real satisfied with this. What's happened this year. Juana says good afternoon to myself and you, Smokin Jim.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Happy holidays.
All right. Yeah, all right. So Smokin Jim by phone, Ralph Williams here on the microphone, and we're here for the post game, which is a show we do. This will be the last one for Pitt football, obviously. Stay tuned to Sports Corner because coming up in January, we're going 2 hours, and we're going to do a Pitt football closing special. I'm going to try to get Noah Howes on, Jerry DePaula, and I'm going to try to get Chris Carter on. And we're going to talk about Pitt football, what went wrong with this season, why they are where they are. They haven't been this bad since probably the second coming of Johnny Majors. That's the last time I remember they were 3-9. So, I mean, that's where we are with Pitt right now. All right, we're in the First Line Consulting Services studios, 1-877-926-6982. Give them a call today. We're in Studio A today, this afternoon. Smokin Jim Frazier, Ralph Williams here. We're doing a Pitt post game, and tomorrow we're doing a Steeler post game. Smokin Jim, Caleb Junko, the punter, once again, shanking punts. I don't care whose grandson he is. He needs to go. What do you think?
Well, first of all, man, people ought to tune into our radio show because you are the booking machine. Nobody gets to guess across the country that you get, Ralph. Want to commend you for that. But I thought about you, man. Every time Junko shanked one, what was that one? It went to the 25
Yeah,
yard line,
25-yard
man.
line right from the end zone.
Man,
Yeah.
that might have been the turning point in the football game,
Yeah, oh yeah, I think it was because Pitt ended up, giving Duke good field position. They got points out of that. So I mean, and when you give the other team really good field position and you got crappy field position every offensive play, there's obviously going to be a problem here, and that's the problem. So I mean, and Pitt can't do that with special teams, or else they're going to lose every game next year. They have to clean that up. I think they're undisciplined as well, Smoking Jim. I think I need to clean that up a little bit. Too many penalties in the second half, unsportsmanlike conduct, roughing the passer, all kinds of just ridiculous penalties. And, even a few on the offensive line. And then that one delay a game where Yarnold just threw it to the ground. He didn't have nobody there at all trying to avoid the sack. I understand that. But sometimes you have to, you know what I mean? So happy holidays, Juana says to you and I, Smoking Jim.
Happy holidays to her as well.
All right. So anyway, as I mentioned, where does Pitt go from here, Smoking Jim?
Again, they have to go back to the drawing board. You have to be able to have an identity. No matter what you say about Jim Harbaugh, you can say a lot. Michigan has an identity. They're going to run the football. In the second half against Penn State, they did not pass one time, even though they got a All-American Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. They ran the football 29 straight times. They're going to bloody your nose. So you have to have an identity, or you're going to be a pass-only team, a run-only team, some type of combination, 60-40 run, 40-60 pass. I mean, that's what Pitt has to figure out in the offseason. I think the biggest thing, Ralph, is they now have a quarterback that they can move forward with in the spring. How well they can develop that quarterback, we don't know. They've yet to really, this staff has yet to really develop a quarterback. Like you said, they just try to jump in the portal and do it the easy way. Let's see if they can develop this kid. He's 6'6", which you want to see in a quarterback. He got an above average arm, and he shows courage when he runs the football, man. A couple of times he could have ran out of bounds, man, and he stayed in bounds. He spun. He fought for extra yardage, man. That shows gumption.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to ask you too, Smoking Jim, before we pay some bills here. Do you think that Pat Narduzzi's comments this year at some of his press conferences, some of his derogatory and smart comments, kind of made this team kind of go the direction it went this year?
He's an idiot. We all know that.
Yeah.
He's just a rich idiot. And
Yeah.
I don't think Pitt can afford to get rid of him because he has a long-term deal. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had to
I
keep his mouth
believe.
shut sometimes.
Yeah, he does need to do that. Some of his comments with the media, I thought, were out of control, and he almost reminds me of another coach that we know. With two M's, I call him Mediocre Mike. You know what I mean? Everybody criticizes me for that, Smoking Jim. They always say, "Why do you call him Mediocre Mike? He's winning." I says, "Yeah, he's winning. He's winning in mediocrity. That's what he's winning." Because, Bill Cowher once said, Smoking Jim, if you're not in this game to win the Super Bowl, you shouldn't be in this game. And that's,
Yes,
and that's the same way with Pitt here. If you're not in this game to win the ACC championship and at least go to a decent bowl game, you shouldn't be here. And I actually thought Pat Narduzzi, by hook or by crook, was going to Michigan State, but that's not happening. They just hired today the Oregon State coach. They hired him today.
Yes,
So he will be the new coach next year. I think his last name is Smith. Let me see here. East Carolina's up on. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. North Texas is up on, or is lost to UAB, or is in the third quarter losing to UAB and Trent Dilfer 28-14. So there you go.
Wow.
Trent Dilfer's the coach down at the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yes,
so, that's going on. I want your comments today here in the comments section. What did you think of Pitt season? Sports Corner every Tuesday on Beaver County Radio, 5 to 6 p.m. till the end of 2023, and then 2024, starting January 2nd, the Year in Sports Review Show. We will be going 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m. every single Tuesday. Now, coming up next year, we're going to have a closing Pitt football show where we're going to have some of the experts on. I'm going to try to get Jerry DePaula and Noah Howes at the same time. We're going to see how that works out, and we're going to talk about this Pitt football season. One other thing too, Smokin' Jim, I think Frank Signetti, the offensive coordinator, has to go. I think he's a horrible offensive coordinator. He has a boring offense. If Pitt's not, Whipple was here. Whipple pass. Narduzzi didn't like it. He wanted Frank Signetti here for that running game kind of thing. Last year they went to the bowl game. They won with Nick Patty. Nick Patty could have probably stayed another year. He had another year of eligibility. He decided to graduate and go. He wasn't interested in the NFL. He was interested in getting on with his life's work, like Chuck Noll would always say. And, so we're going to find out where that goes. Do you think some of this coaching needs to go other than Signetti?
Well, I agree. They can rehaul the whole coaching staff, but the guy that put it all together is still here. So is he going to, he hasn't shown a track record of being able to hire good coaches. So, I'm not opposed to sticking with what he has, but now that you have a quarterback that you can have some input with in the spring, in your off-season workout, that's where you get better as a football team. You get better from February to August.
Yes.
Not from September to December.
No, you do not. And sometimes it takes Narduzzi's teams, for some strange reason, they always get off to a slow start, and they seem like they're not ever ready after training camp happens. And then, training camp's in August, and then you have your spring practices in March, and then in April they have the spring game. Right there, you should pretty much have an idea what your team is going to look like and how they're going to mold and fold. So we'll see. Do you think they should keep the coordinators? I mean, I'm talking Randy Bates and Frank Signetti.
Well, if I was the head coach, I would get rid of them.
Oh,
but
both
I
of them.
have the ability to hire great coaches.
Yeah.
Narduzzi doesn't. So,
yeah, I know. Well, he hires. He does like mediocre Mike. He hires his friends, guys that he's coached with before, but
nobody,
they never.
Nobody that's going to challenge him. He will not allow anybody to challenge him, and that's a problem.
Oh, it is. It is a problem. And for some reason, there seems to be what I call Southside disease. It seems like both coaches at the Southside facility seem to have that kind of an attitude. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. I agree with that.
All right. Let me talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh. 412-462-7858. Sleep Pittsburgh. Call them today right on 8th Avenue, Homestead. I'll tell you what, they have affordable mattresses, bedding. They have futons, lift chairs. If you're handicapped and you need a lift recliner. All right. They have lift chairs. They have day beds. They have bunk beds. If you have multiple children staying in one room and you need bunk beds, they have them. They have a big selection of sleeping, like mattresses, bed frames, whatever you need. Give them a call today. That number, 412-462-7858, Sleep Pittsburgh. And also sleeppittsburgh.com. Check out their inventory online. And no credit check financing. So let's say you have bad credit. They don't check your credit. You can go with no credit check financing, and they will help you with that as well. They're very nice people, very easy to work with, free delivery. So give Sleep Pittsburgh a call. That number, 412-462-7858, Sleep Pittsburgh, for the best sleep tonight. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's get back to some more of this a little bit here. We're going to wrap it up shortly because we don't have too much more to talk about. Let's define the season a little bit here in this little post game here. What do you think the main problem was most of the season? Was it the undisciplined play? Was it just or a multiple of things?
Well, the biggest problem, they couldn't schedule Wolford for 12 straight weeks. You know what I mean? They was going to the BCS championship after they beat Wolford. But hey, I think it was a combination of Narduzzi bringing in Phil Djokovic, one of the greatest high school quarterbacks according to Parade magazine that people's ever seen. So I think that they thought that it was going to get a senior season like Kenny Pickett had, and when it took them about 5 or 6 games to figure out that Djokovic was just not a college quarterback, and so that set the whole program back. They put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, they
A
did.
guy that they thought the guy that they thought had an NFL pedigree, and he couldn't even play probably minor league football.
Yeah, I know. It seems like, for instance, for some strange reason, he had a pretty reasonable high school career at Pine Richland, and then all of a sudden goes to Notre Dame and doesn't really play, and then goes to Boston College and gets hurt, and then comes here and stinks up the joint. And I mean, the stench from Phil Djokovic was so bad I could smell it all the way here to my apartment. And so, and you know me, I don't live far from the city, so you know. You could probably smell it all the way out in Monroeville, you know? Yeah, but anyway, and then I thought this Christian Valor was gonna be a better quarterback, and, sometimes you can't throw a freshman into the fire, and, sometimes that's a hard thing to do, but if they're a good quarterback, a good freshman quarterback, sometimes you can throw them into the fire and they'll win. Virginia Tech just scored a touchdown. Smokin' Jim, they're up 7-3 on Virginia in the first. Or actually, I'm sorry, they're up 10-0 on Virginia.
Wow.
This is
Wow.
called the Centennial Bowl, Virginia versus Virginia Tech. So, Warner says, wow, Narduzzi hires his friends so no one challenges him. Yeah, and I hope I spelled his name right. Yeah, you spelled it kind of right. It's you spelled the first 4 letters and then you had to put a U, ZZI. Is how his name's spelled, Narduzzi. And then McArnold, Juana put up some laughter emojis here. So, so she kind of agrees with us that. But I think the punting situation, I don't care if it's Bob Junko's grandson. I could care less. We need to get a good punter in here. Every game, this Kalen Junko shanks punts, and it causes the other team to have good field position and score like they did today with Duke. Twice he shanked 2 punts, and it was horrible. So you just don't do stuff like that and continue to do it just because that's like Dino Tomlin being on the Steelers, and he wasn't all that great of a college player to begin with. What do you think of their recruits this year with PITT, Smokin' Jim?
Well, again, I think that a program like Pitt that doesn't have a marquee um, recruiter. I mean, you have to have. I'm not saying you got to be Deion Sanders,
Right?
And go out and get anybody. Get anybody that you go after, but you got to have somebody that can work. A Terry Smith with a person like that. They lost on Pelko. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pelko could have been here. He didn't have
Right.
to go to Penn State.
How about
And
Tom?
this
How
is a
about
guy
Tom
that
Bradley? Tom Bradley coached
Tom
with Penn
Bradley is
State.
another
Yeah.
excellent. But
Yeah.
see, they wouldn't hire Tom Bradley because Tom Bradley knows what he's doing
Yeah.
defensively. Tom Bradley should be a head coach in college football, or Narduzzi would want to be challenged like that. But you have, like you said, you have to have somebody that can recruit and
Yes.
dominate this area. You can't continue to keep losing the better players in this area, and that's Pitt's biggest problem. They're not recruiting very well locally.
Well, they had Coach K from Pine Richland last year. He was a volunteer coach.
Yeah, yeah,
And I know he did some recruiting, and I heard he did pretty
yeah.
well around here. I don't know why they didn't offer him a contract. He ended up going to Mars. Mars had a pretty good season this year. And,
Yes, they did.
so how'd you like the high school football games yesterday?
Well, I tell you what, those are the smaller classifications, Class A through 4A. I played my college quarterback was a Gary, Tim Gary,
Right.
whose dad is a legendary coach at Fort Cherry, Jim Gary,
Uh-huh.
and they finally won a championship with his son Tanner Gary, who was a great quarterback in the WPIL and
Right.
in college football. So that Fort Cherry finally won their first championship after failing with Marty Schottenheimer, Dick Haley, and Marvin Lewis and Ray Kemp and some of those great players that they had. They finally won a championship. But hey, what can you say about El Equipa? They're Class
Oh,
A school.
yes.
They're playing
Big time.
4A ball,
Yes.
beating McKee Sport and these other big 4A schools. It's just unbelievable what the Clips are doing.
I was surprised Steel Valley lost yesterday. I watched that game, but they made a lot of mistakes. They had some bad penalties. You can't do stuff like
Who
that.
beat them? Who beat them?
Oh man, who did beat them? Oh, wait a minute. The first one was Southside Beaver. I know they lost to Fort
Oh,
Cherry.
Beaver Falls.
Beaver Falls,
beat
yeah,
them.
Beaver Falls beat
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
out of Beaver
yeah,
Valley, yeah.
yeah. Beaver
Aliquippa,
Falls,
Beaver Falls. You
Aliquippa.
know who
Yeah,
Beaver Falls plays next week?
yeah. They play Westinghouse.
Westinghouse
Yeah,
Bulldogs.
I
Yeah,
was
man. So
listening to
that
that
should be
game
good.
on our. I was listening to that game on AM 790 on the internet. I was listening to that game last night. Westinghouse and Farrell. That was a good game. Really was. I mean, it wasn't on TV, but I got to listen to it. I was listening to it on the radio while I was watching the games down at Acrisure Stadium on the TV. So I kind of was doing that. And then I turned on SmackDown as usual, so got away from the game a little bit. So, but we'll see what happens tonight with Survivor Series. It's on Peacock tonight. We'll see what goes on with that. So, Smokin' Jim, thanks for being part of the program today. It's great to have you, and we'll have you tomorrow for the Steeler post game. Steve Spades, Bubba Brewer, JT Toth from Draft 412, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and myself. It's going to be a great post game show tomorrow. We'll see what the Steelers do against Cincinnati.
And Ralph, I appreciate all the opportunities that you give me, brother.
Hey, no problem, Smokin' Jim. Talk to you. If I don't, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And then Tuesday we got the big show. It's we got a guy named Rick Moore coming on from Amped Up Sports to talk with us about the Arizona Cardinals, because that is who the Steelers are playing next week, not this week, next week, at home here at Acrisure Stadium. And then I got Matt Grubba coming on to talk about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and why they laid an egg and what happened to them. They were favorites to win the championship in the USL, and they laid an egg in the first round and lost in the playoffs to Detroit. So we're going to see what Matt Grubba has to say when I have him here, or have him on the Sports Corner show on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 12:30 a.m. live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page, YouTube channel, website, and app, and also live on www.rwmedia.org as well. Anything you want to watch on Beaver County Radio, go on www.rwmedia.org, push the live button underneath the Beaver County Radio emblem. You can listen and watch anything. If there's music on, you can listen. On the Saturday afternoon, J.D. Merkel, Jim Merkel's brother, formerly of 3WS, he plays oldies in the afternoon from noon to like 5 o'clock. So if you want to, listen to that, you can do that as well. You don't just, but I recommend that you come on, turn it on, www.rwmedia.org, and punch up Beaver County Radio. Just push live, and you'll come right to the show. Smokin' Jim, I'll talk with you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I was Smokin' Jim Frazier on the phone here today for the Pitt post-game show. Pitt loses to Duke 30-19. Pat Narduzzi made another mistake. He scored that one touchdown, and instead of trying to go for the field goal, it would have been 27-20. He decided to try to go for 2 points and make it 27-21, and they didn't even come close. Okay, if he would have went for the extra point, it could have been a little bit better of a game, I think. And then Duke's defense just stiffened up and kept intercepting passes and sacking Nate Yarno. It was a bad game for Pitt today, but that's okay. The season's over. They're 3-9. One of the worst seasons they've had since the second coming of Johnny Majors. I remember when they were 3-9 with him a couple seasons as well. I want to talk to you today about Fulton Travel Mobility. Who is Fulton Travel Mobility? Well, if you're handicapped, you need to know who Fulton Travel Mobility is. I'm handicapped, and I needed a power folding chair, and I got one. It's a power chair that folds up and you put it right in your car or in your vehicle or in your SUV or whatever you drive. Okay? Why do I need that? Well, there's times you go to the store, you can't get a scooter. There's times you go to a concert at a certain facility and it takes 2 miles to get to your seat from the parking lot, and then you have to, try to wheel yourself through there, or you have to go out and get a trailer and haul your scooter around or haul your power chair around. Why do all that? Call Fold and Travel Mobility today. They also have financing. So if you can't afford to pay for it outright, you can finance a folding power wheelchair. Call 1-877-GET-FOLD. That's 1-877-GET-FOLD, or go on foldandtravelmobility.com. Don't make your life inconvenient. Do it today. All right. The experts will help you on the phone, or you can chat with them on the website at foldandtravelmobility.com. They have experts that have been around for 20, 30 years, not 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. They've been around for many, many, many years. Thank you, Juan. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. All right. And also, I thank Smokin Jim for being on with me today. But Fold and Travel Mobility, if you're handicapped, please make that phone call today and have some good Black Friday deals. You might even save 50% on a folding power chair. Tell them you heard it on RW Media Production Programs. That number again, 1-877-GET-FOLD, 1-877-GOT-FOLD. I'm sorry, GOT-FOLD, GOTFOLD. I want to talk to you today about P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. Call them today, 412-965-6578. Let the professionals detail your car. You get these guys, you got some of these guys that are in some of these little garages, and they have a detailing business. Okay, no, this is a guy who has a professional detailing business, and it's called P6 Auto Detailing. Give them a call. That number again, 412-965-6578. They're in New Kensington. And also check out their website, p6autodetailing.com, or their Facebook page at P6 Auto Detailing. P6 Auto Detailing for the best detailing for your car. You ought to call Mata. You need heating and air conditioning. You have a big problem with your heat. Your furnace has gone boom. Well, you ought to call Mata, which means call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-201-0500. Ask for Bill. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning will come over and fix your problem. If it's a furnace, an air conditioner, a UV lighting situation, air cleaner, maybe you need snow melt. They even do that as well. So stop or call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata, 724-205-0500. Tell them you heard it here on an RW Media program called The Post Game Show, or you heard it on Sports Corner or any of my shows that I have that you can watch. Ask for Bill. That number again, 724-201-0500. You ought to call Mata. Bon Journey, cover band that plays Bon Jovi and Journey music. Next Saturday, December 2nd, they're going to be at the Lazy Chameleon Club in Columbus and Powell, near Columbus, Powell, Ohio. All right. December 16th, they're going to be at the Big Bar in Erie. My favorite place, Erie, the Big Bar, is where they're going to be at for December 16th. December 22nd, Jurgles, all times start at 8 p.m. So check out Bon Journey, the Bon Jovi Journey tribute band. I'm here also today to talk to you about Draft 412. Draft 412 is a draft website. Get on draft412.com. Check out all the skinny they have on all the players' data. They bring you up to speed on what they're ranked, what they're doing, how they're performing. They break it all down for you, whether it's the NHL draft, the NBA draft, the baseball draft, the NFL draft, any kind of draft. Draft412.com is the place to be. So get on draft412.com. The experts, they have a $9 a month e-magazine they will send to you right into your inbox. And all you have to do is get on draft412.com. Press you want to subscribe to the magazine. It's $9 a month. So check it out, draft412.com. All right. I want to talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio. Richmond, Ohio is 45 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. It's located right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. No excuse not to head on out to Hillcrest Farm there. Talk to Caitlin or Taylor. They're the owners, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. You can email them at hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com or check out their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. And also, they're on Facebook as well at Hillcrest Farm. They have the best hay grain beef. They also have some great package deals, including the ground beef deal at $95 for 20 pounds of ground beef. You can't beat that. And it's pure hay grain beef, not that stuff you buy in a grocery store that has all kinds of fillers in it and all that. No, this is fresh ground beef. Okay, I have some. I use it all the time. I buy it all the time. $95, 20 pounds of ground beef, Hillcrest Farms, Richmond, Ohio. All right, this has been the post game show. I'm Ralph Williams. I want to thank my guest, Smokin Jim Frazier, for being on the program today. I want to thank Juana for her comments as well, and all those watching and also watching the show here today. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, 20 minutes after the Steeler game. We will be back on here with the post game show, and we will have Bubba Brewer, Steve Spates, JT Toth, myself, Ralph Williams, and Smokin Jim Frazier by phone. So we're going to have a nice little cast of people here tomorrow for the post-game show. Steelers play Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow, 1 o'clock start time in Cincinnati. Everyone have a great night, and please be safe.